If you spent any amount of time online, you've probably seen a familiar narrative. Software engineers are doomed. AI is here and it's replacing all the jobs, and soon there won't be any need for programmers at all. You see headlines about layoffs at big tech companies, people warning students not to even bother learning how to code, threads about how prompt engineers will be replacing developers entirely. And honestly, I get it. It's scary. If you spent years grinding through tutorials, learning different frameworks, building projects, only to hear that AI can do it all in seconds, it can feel like the rug's been pulled out from underneath you. But I think this narrative isn't just misleading, it's flat out wrong. And if you're thinking about becoming a developer, or you're already a dev who's worried about the future, I want to show you why 2025 might actually be the best time to become a software engineer. So, let's address the fear head on. Scroll through Reddit and you'll find posts from developers terrified that they're about to be replaced. On Twitter, you'll see screenshots of ChatGPT spitting out working code. YouTube is flooded with videos saying AI just killed programming. Don't waste your time learning to code. And let's be honest, when you actually see it happen, it's kind of scary. You type a single prompt and AI generates a functioning web app in under a minute, a task that used to take you hours, days, maybe even weeks. If you've spent any time debugging code, fixing syntax errors, or grinding through documentation, watching a machine bypass all of that can feel like an existential threat. Like, you might think, why would anyone hire me when AI can do this faster and cheaper? But people who think like this are only looking at the narrowest slice of programming, writing the code. Yes, AI is insanely good at that. It can churn out boilerplate, debug syntax, and even build full components in a fraction of the time it used to take a human. But coding itself was never the real job. The real value of a developer has always been in problem solving and understanding a business, a user, or an idea, and then translating that into a working solution. AI can't get inside your head. It doesn't know your vision. It doesn't know your market. It doesn't know your constraints. It doesn't know your creativity. That's still on you. So when AI has taken over the boring parts, the stuff we used to slog through, if you think about it, it's actually freeing up developers to focus on the fun part, thinking big, moving fast, building cooler things. That's not the death of software development. That's a new golden age. Now let's zoom out. Because believe it or not, this actually isn't the first time people have predicted the end of software development. Back in the early 2000s, tools like Dreamweaver and Microsoft FrontPage promised anyone could build websites without writing any code. People would say, why would anyone need to hire web developers anymore? We can just replace all our devs with people who know how to use these tools. And spoiler alert, developers weren't replaced. Then came the outsourcing boom. Remember that? Companies said, oh, we'll just ship all our coding jobs overseas because it'll be cheaper. And yet the domestic dev jobs grew because businesses realized you couldn't just outsource understanding the problem. Fast forward to the rise of no-code platforms. You'd hear similar headlines like coding is dead, no code is the future with tools like Bubble, Wix, or Webflow. And once again, the story was, this is it, developers are obsolete. But what actually happened? Those tools only would get you at most a simple MVP. And most people have even said they've spent more time trying to get a no-code solution to work than if they would have just developed the app from scratch to begin with. Now, fast forward today, and here's AI. Once again, we're hearing the same narrative. This time, it's really over for devs. But history says otherwise. Every new tool that was supposed to replace developers has only ended up making developers be in higher demand, make them more powerful. AI isn't the end, it's the next iteration of a decades-long pattern. Here's something I think people forget. The demand for software isn't shrinking, it's exploding. Every industry is becoming a software industry. Healthcare, finance, education, construction, even farming are all integrating software into their industries. Farmers are using apps to track crop yields. Teachers are using custom platforms to teach remotely. And small businesses are using SaaS tools to handle logistics that used to take up entire back offices. So AI isn't reducing the demand, it's increasing it because suddenly more people are seeing what's possible. The small business owner who could have never thought they could afford a custom app, now they want one. The teacher who never imagined building a platform for their students, now they're trying it out. The startup founder who thought an MVP would take at least 6 months and a bunch of investment, now they can develop it themselves in 6 weeks. The appetite for software is bigger than ever, and guess who builds it? Developers. So while people panic that AI is shrinking the pie, the truth is it's making the pie much, much bigger. And the developers developers who know how to work with AI are the ones who are going to be slicing off the biggest pieces. So the future is learning how to use AI to your advantage. As someone who loves going to the gym, I like to think of this example. Let's say you're lifting weights. With a spotter, you can only push so much. You kind of hit a wall. You max out with what you're able to comfortably do on your own. But if you have a spotter, you can safely push past your limits, reaching your true potential, your true max. That's what AI is. It's your spotter. It doesn't lift for you, but it helps you lift more than you could alone. Or maybe this example is better. Think of AI kind of like an exoskeleton. Without it, you can lift, you can run, you can build, but with it, you can lift 10 times as much, run 10 times as fast, construct 10 times as big. That's what AI does for developers. In the past, so much of our time was taken up by boring grunt work, like writing boilerplate code or debugging small repetitive errors, setting up tests for frameworks, or maybe even just writing the same login form for the thousandth time. None of that's what makes software exciting. It's what makes it exhausting. And now, AI handles it. It clears up your desk, it frees up your time. So what do you do with all this time now? Well, you get to focus on what matters, the architecture of your system, the design that your users experience, the unique problem you're solving, the creative vision for your product. And that's the paradox. AI does make coding more accessible, but it makes developers way more valuable because your job shifts from execution to imagination. So developers who lean into AI don't become less valuable, they become unstoppable. Instead of one project a year, you can now launch 6. Instead of wasting months on grunt work, you can spend weeks building things that actually matter. So AI isn't your replacement, it's your multiplier. Nowhere is this clearer than when you compare small, scrappy developers to the big corporations. Not long ago, launching software meant you needed an army. I mean, I'm talking about back-end engineers, front-end engineers, designers, QA testers, ops people, marketing, support, the list goes on and on. Now, one developer with AI can do the work of 10. That's not just efficiency, that's speed. And in software, speed is everything. I mean, let's think of this example. A big company wants to build something new, right? They need months of planning, budget approvals, and endless meetings. By the time they even start, a solo developer has already built the product, tested it, launched, and is getting feedback from users and iterating it. I mean, this is why solo developers and small teams are so dangerous right now. You don't have all the bureaucracy. You don't need the permission. You can just move fast, learn fast, and adapt fast. Because when your costs are low, you can undercut the giants. You don't need millions of dollars in funding. You just need the idea, the curiosity, and AI as your amplifier. That's why the next wave of successful startups aren't going to come from the big corporations. They're going to come from small teams and often just solo developers. So with all this said, what does it mean to be a developer in 2025? Well, I'll tell you this. It's definitely not just about coding anymore. It's about being a creator, being a builder, and a problem solver. The best developers today, they're gonna have to be flexible. They're gonna have to understand the design, the marketing, the storytelling, and the community. They're not just gonna be sitting in a dark room typing up functions. AI is pushing us to become way more well-rounded, which is probably for the best. Because once the raw syntax gets handled for you, what really matters is your vision, your ability to combine disciplines, to see opportunities, to ship products that actually matter, while still maintaining the technical knowledge to implement the solutions to those problems. You're no longer just a coder. You're a programmer and a creator in the fullest sense. And we're already seeing this play out. Look at the indie dev community. Teenagers are using AI to quickly spin up apps that are bringing in hundreds of thousands of dollars a month. Freelancers who used to only take on one client or project at a time are now able to manage multiple because AI helps them scale their output. Even laid off developers, people who were told that they were obsolete, they're building their own products, launching their own businesses, and in some cases making more money than they did at their old jobs. These aren't hypotheticals. This is happening right now. So yeah, I get it. I get why people are afraid, because the headlines are scary, the layoffs are real, and the tools are powerful. But if you zoom out for a second, and if you look at the history, the demand, the leverage, the picture is clear. AI is not the end of software development. It's just a new beginning. And if you've ever thought about becoming a developer, or you already are one, and you're wondering if you should give it up and change careers, please don't. because 2025 is not the year to quit. This is the year to go all in, because the future doesn't belong to some big company with, a ton of employees. It belongs to the developers, the solo developer, the small teams who know how to move the fastest, stream the biggest, and leverage the best tools. And that can be you. So don't let the headlines scare you anymore. Go and build something big. Solve a problem with software that helps millions of people, because the barriers of preventing great ideas from coming to life are finally gone. So yeah, that's why 2025 is the best time to get into software development. Thanks for watching this video to the end, and I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments below about this new age of software development that we're entering. And with all of that said, I'll see you in the next video.